Hi guys, so this video here is taken from a full course on building a track from scratch in Logic. You'll be able to watch all of the Logic related videos for the course on YouTube. There will be a link to the playlist below for you. But in this course, we're basically building this whole track from scratch. If you want to follow along with that, you can. And if you want to download the project file and all the samples that go with the course, there's a link to that in the description as well. I hope this video is useful to you and that you're able to follow along with the course. Let's jump into it.
Feeling heavy, but now I'm steady, going up from hitting the ground.
Right, the other big fundamental thing in the drums is obviously our snare. Now we've got 3 on the go. Got my sharp snare for my sample pack. Got this real snare layer, every other snare. We got this live snare. Just by having those alternators, what's helping create a rhythm. But again, we want them all to work coherently together. Now, I don't think any of these samples need compression at all, which is useful for us. But there's definitely a little bit of treatment that's needed. Now, my sharp snare, generally I just end up getting rid of all this low end. I made it in a synth, and for some reason it still generates loads of low end. I'm going to take this all the way up to 160. That way it still has this fundamental here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the Q up a little bit more so it actually gives a boost. And then I'm just going to roll it on that boost just so it kind of sticks through like that. So we're just like this. Yeah, just a tiny bit more body to it. The real snare, it's got a bit of a hat and it's a bit dirty and there's all kinds going on. And it's still got that body around 200 Hertz. There's no real low end going on. There is a bit of this burst around 6K. You really catch it on the right ear. I don't know if you can hear that. Well, I want to control just that right side. I don't want to take everything out because it sounds good on the left. 2 things we could do. We could take just the left channel and stick it in mono, or we could EQ just the right-hand side, and that's what we're going to do. What we're going to do here to make sure we don't run into any issues is we are going to go grab the linear phase EQ. And it's just in the same EQ channel. It's just called the linear phase. And because we're going to be adjusting just one side, the linear phase stops any phase issue then happening with the left on the slopes of the curve. I won't dive too much into it, but if you're EQing just one side of a sound, linear phase is a better way to go. Also, if you're EQing lots of similar sounds recorded with the same mic, linear phase can help you out as well. So processing wise, we're going to switch it to right only, as you would imagine. And it was around 6K. We're just going to give it a dip around there. That feels way more central now. It's not leading off too much to the right, and I prefer that. Now, I do think there's something nice in this snare we can also bring out. We're going to go and add a regular EQ on as well. And we're just going to do that sweep, slightly broader this time. I think just there. Just a little lift, just to bring some attention to it. And the other thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to slope off a lot of this noise at the end. I'm just going to put the low pass on, change the slope to 6 dB and dial it back like this. Don't need all that burst of white noise in there. Now, I don't think it really needs anything apart from it's got this low end in. We just don't need that interfering with our kick. So we're going to do the same trick as before. Put in an 18 slope. And we're going to bring that right up to about 180, just below that 200 Hertz fundamental. And then we're just going to push that up slightly like that. All right, so let's check out in context all of the EQ adjustments that we just made. Okay, I'm going to switch the order of the linear phase. We'll try that. So the kick's got loads more room, it's loads more punchy, works really well. The snare is sticking out quite nicely as well. We've got lots of space for that fundamental. One thing I can definitely hear is on the one that we've called the real snare, lots of that noise just isn't needed. So I want to find what is sort of the most prominent burst of noise. It's probably going to be right up here. I'm just going to take it away entirely. I think it's actually around 1K. Just get rid of that. Yeah, that makes a lot of difference. All right, so in the next section, let's dive into the rest of the drums and then we'll move on from there.